welcome to Mildly Spicy News Broadcast. I'm Rakaya Henry Fields.
And I'm Linda Grant.
Our first story in local news is that on Wednesday afternoon in Westchester County, the Metro North line was delayed for hours because a train collided with the car that was on the tracks. The accident occurred at approximately 3:30 p.m. at the Green Lane crossing in Bedford Hills. The two women inside the car were able to get out before the collision occurred. Passengers on the 222 Harlem Line train out of Grand Central had to walk a plank to get off the Green Lane crossing in Bedford Hills.
Two Westchester County lawmakers have proposed a new law to create a toll-free hotline for reportings of cyberbullying. There have been laws against cyberbullying in Westchester before, however, this time there are no details of misdemeanor penalties such as jail time or fines included. Under the proposed law, the Human Rights Commission would launch a public education awareness and anti-cyberbullying program.
On Saturday night, a 3-year-old boy was left alone and hungry at home on Pelham Road when his mother was about 100 yards away. The police found his mother, Evelyn Rainey, at Cullen's Tavern Bar. Investigators are analyzing the situation. And now, Amber Grant with the local forecast.
A little chilly today with a high of 64 and a low of 61. The clouds will remain with us through Saturday's thunderstorms, reaching a high of 72. Sunday and Monday, partly cloudy in the mid-60s, and we will experience some warmer temperatures later in the week with Friday's sunny and 72 day.
Hello everyone, my name is Max Abrams and welcome to the first edition of Do You Need Ice for Them, Smacks? Where we here at New Rochelle High School Entertainment give you all the latest details about the celebrity feuds and fights that took place over the last week. Here's what we have. If you heard about Azealia Banks recently, don't worry, it's not actually because she's famous or something like that. The social climbing rap star went at Zayn Malik this past Tuesday, consequently subjecting herself to the wrath of one of the largest fan bases on social media. But out of all the disses Miss Banks received that day, none was more painful than that of Miss Sky Jackson. You heard it right, folks. The 14-year-old Disney star of the hit show Jessie, an internet meme legend, came at Miss Banks after she attacked Zayn with homophobic and racist remarks. It all began with a simple, Azealia Banks needs to simmer down a little bit. What would follow would be one of the most epic Twitter takedowns in tween history. Azealia would come at Sky with tweets such as, "Your mom's been pimping you out to Disney since you were a little girl," or telling her to get her menses before she comes out and attacks her. The 14-year-old prodigy kept her cool, suavely adding Miss Banks with, "I had a career before Disney and I'm sure I will after. And I know I won't turn out like you, bitter and miserable. Fix your life." The girls would fight back for another hour or so, but Miss Jackson would shut it all down with, quote, "Take your L's like a champ." With 85,000 likes on that tweet, it was clear that Miss Jackson won the battle, and Banks took her, quote, "ratchet edges," end quote, back home and deleted all the tweets. Kristen, back to you.
Since the passing of the famous artist Prince, a man has come forward claiming to be his son a few weeks after his death. Carlin Q. Williams, a rapper from Kansas City, Missouri, claims to be the biological son of the late legend. He filed a petition on Monday to be determined as Prince's sole surviving heir and even requested a blood test. According to legal documents, his mother, Marsha Henson, says that she and Prince had unprotected sex in 1976 in Kansas City Hotel. She gave birth to a child on April 8, 1977. Lawyers charged with handling the multi-million-dollar estate of the late pop star were able to get hold of his sample of blood from a coroner as they were able to analyze the sample and prove the claim is true. The exact value of the estate has not been disclosed yet, but his music catalog alone is estimated to be valued more than $500 million. Even in absence of will, 6 siblings or half-siblings of the star has been enlisted as his heir in court documents filed in Carver County District Court in Minnesota. The rapper is currently serving jail time on weapon charges and stated his paternity claim publicly on his website, writing, "I am Prince, the singer's son."
In other entertainment news, shade was thrown Lamar Odom's way this week by his ex-spouse Khloe Kardashian. Months after his near-death experience due to an overdose, Khloe, who took care of him during his time of need and rehabilitation, tweeted, "Shaking my head," after Odom was seen the other night and photographed at the Beverly Center Sunday afternoon drinking what appeared to be an alcoholic beverage. Jelena supporters' dreams were crushed this past week. After Selena and Justin's on and off relationship for the past few years, Justin has recently been posting throwback pictures on Instagram of the couple with interesting captions leading on fans. However, at a concert recently, Selena announced that Justin and her were completely done.
Good afternoon. Welcome to National News. My name is Paula.
And my name is Erin.
Tragic news today. A 21-year-old Navy SEAL student, James Derek Lovelace of Crestview, Florida, died during his first week of basic training in California after taking part in underwater demolition training. Safety observers noticed Lovelace was having trouble during the swimming exercise and pulled him to the edge of the pool, where he lost consciousness. Resuscitation efforts were not successful. Lovelace's death comes days after another SEAL died in an unrelated incident in Iraq. Next story. Citadel denies Muslim students hijab request. The Citadel, the military college of South Carolina, denied a female prospective Muslim student's request for wearing a hijab. The college issued this statement to the student. The standardization of cadets in apparel, overall appearance, actions, and privileges is essential to the learning goals and objectives of the college. This process reflects an initial relinquishing of self, during which cadets learn the value of teamwork to function as a single unit. The Citadel is a prestigious military school that has a strict dress code that rarely allows exceptions. The family of the student is taking legal action.
A missing engine cover prompts Delta flight's emergency landing. Passengers saw a scary flight on Sunday afternoon at 30,000 feet when an engine cover fell off a plane. Delta Flight 762 from Atlanta to Chicago had passengers fearing for their lives. After severe turbulence, a passenger noted that the engine cover on the right side of the plane had fallen off. The crew then alerted the pilot, and he declared an air emergency. All 109 passengers aboard the Boeing jet landed safely in Nashville. The passengers continued to Chicago on a new plane and arrived Sunday night. Ted Cruz plans to run for re-election in 2018. In 2018, Ted Cruz won for election in Texas. After a cutthroat White House run, Cruz had to turn back to the Senate. Cruz has not yet endorsed Trump, though there is already speculation that he's planning for a White House run in 2020. Political strategists believe that Cruz will be better suited for a race if he skips his Senate election in 2018.
Good afternoon. I'm Shira Zisholtz, bringing you the breaking news in sports. Our top story today involves basketball with Stephen Curry's unanimous NBA MVP win. This marked the first time any player has won the league's highest award while receiving all the first-place votes. He led his Warriors to the best season in NBA history with a record of 73-9 and set a new record for the most threes in a season with 402, improving upon his own record of 268. He now holds 4 of the top 10 three-point shooting seasons in NBA history. By the way, 402 threes in a season is more than any NBA team had made before the 1994 Houston Rockets. Curry completed the most efficient 50-40-90 season and most efficient season by a point guard in NBA history. He now joins just Magic Johnson and Steve Nash as the only point guards to ever win multiple MVP awards and became the first guard since Michael Jordan to lead the league in points per game and steals per game in the same season. He's now the only player in NBA history to average over 30 points per game while playing under 35 minutes. He just set the record for most points ever scored in a 5-minute overtime period with 17 as he tries to lead his team to back-to-back NBA titles. He is truly an anomaly for improving upon his MVP season in 2015. Yeah. As the playoffs are raging on, here's where we're at now. Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook dominated the Spurs at home on Thursday, advancing them to their 4th Western Conference Finals in the last 6 years. They'll face Steph Curry and the Warriors on the road in Game 1, Monday night at 9 p.m. KD and Russ combined for 65 points and 14 assists, handing future Hall of Famer Tim Duncan a huge loss in what might have been his last game ever. LeBron James and the Cavaliers advanced to their 7th Eastern Conference Finals since 2006 as they swept Atlanta, making their postseason record 8-0 so far this year. LeBron, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love are averaging a combined 67 points, 23 rebounds, and 15 assists per game this postseason. They'll face the Raptors in the Eastern Conference Finals. Steph Curry and the Warriors eliminated Damian Lillard and the Trailblazers in Game 5 as Steph returned from his knee injury to pour in 40 points. He and Klay Thompson are averaging a combined 52 points per game so far this season, trumping Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum's 47. Up north, the Toronto Raptors controlled Game 7 at home versus the Heat, winning by 27 points. Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan combined for 63 points and held Dwayne Wade to just 16. This will be the Raptors' first Eastern Conference Finals appearance in franchise history. In baseball news, Max Scherzer tied the MLB record of 20 strikeouts in a 9-inning game on Wednesday night. He now joins Kerry Wood, Randy Johnson, and Roger Clemens as the only pitchers to hit the mark. It was a slap in the face to many Tigers fans, as this was Scherzer's first game pitched against his former team since signing a 7-year, $210 million deal with Washington. Kerry Wood showed Scherzer some love on Twitter, tweeting, "Congratulations to Max Scherzer on an impressive and dominant performance tonight. Welcome to the club. #filthy." Moving on to the NFL now, as we have just received word that former Notre Dame and UAB transfer commit running back Greg Bryant has been laid to rest after being declared brain dead. 21-year-old Bryant was shot at 4:45 a.m. on I-95. The shooting is still under investigation as a homicide.
Hello and welcome to Mildly Spicy News. My name is Max Abrams.
And I'm Emma Gallagher.
And here's your world today. According to a Twitter message on the account Amok, a media outlet linked to ISIS, the Sunni terrorist group claimed responsibility for the Wednesday morning attacks in Iraq's capital, Baghdad, that targeted Shiites and left over 90 people dead. The first attack resulted in 64 casualties and 87 wounded when a car bomb went off in a market in the Shiite neighborhood of Sadr City. Later that day, a vested suicide bomber detonated in the square of a Shiite neighborhood. Police officials reported 17 dead and 43 wounded. A suicide car bomber went off in the Sunni neighborhood of Al Jamia, killing 12 and injuring 31 people. The target was a Shiite man checkpoint.
An Indonesian religious group that claims to be the world's largest Muslim organization issued an unusual declaration on Tuesday, denouncing fellow believers for the rise of the violent extremism across the world. The group identified elements within the Islamic world as being the most significant factor causing the spread of religious extremism across Muslims. The group also accused unnamed Middle Eastern governments of deliberately nurturing religious extremism by exploiting sectarian differences.
The 3 Spanish journalists who went missing last July in the northern Syrian city of Aleppo have returned to Spain, according to a statement released by the Spanish government. Acting Deputy Prime Minister Soraya Sanz de Santamaria was on hand to meet Antonio Pampliega, José Manuel López, and Ángel Sestre at the Torrejón de Ardoz airbase in Madrid, where they had arrived on a flight from Turkey. They had been held in Syria since July of 2015. Syria remains one of the most hazardous countries for journalists to report from. Japanese journalist Junpei Yasuda went missing after crossing the Turkish-Syrian border. No one has heard from him since June 23rd.
A Mexican judge has ruled that the country's most notorious drug lord, Joaquin Guzman Loretta, can be extradited to the United States, where he would face federal charges of drug trafficking and far slimmer chances of escaping prison, as he has done twice in his home country. The ruling creates the basis for the Ministry of Foreign Relations in Mexico to grant the final approval for the extradition of El Chapo within the next 30 days. El Chapo's lawyers were notified of the judge's decision on Friday night, and El Chapo was told on Sunday during his transfer to another prison in Ciudad Juarez near the American border.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. This was your weekly review with NRHS's Mildly Spicy. My name is Max Abrams.
And I'm Emma Gallagher. Thank you for watching.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. This was your weekly review with Mildly Spicy here at NRHS. My name is Max Abrams.
And I'm Emma Gallagher.
You said you were going to do something.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
Okay.